Life's not about what happens to you, but what you make of it. Hello to my dear, energetic, and fantastically awesome champion community, champion family. This is me, Vaibhav Nahata, your excited and handsome presenter for being champions. And as usual, it's going to be a fun, fantastic episode where we're going to learn how to take ourselves to the top, right? And as you can see just next to me, we don't have anyone else right now. We don't have a good guest right now, and I'm sorry about it because we have a great guest today for our show. And I'm so super duper damn excited to have Dr. John Gaines joining us. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I am so excited to be here. I love technology because it allows us to interact with people from different countries. And so I'm excited to be on your virtual show today.
Oh, indeed. I'm as happy as I could be to have you. We are so happy to see you over here. So Dr. J, needless to say, for you to be able to stand up over there and say, hey, I'm a champion, and not just you, for people to recognize you as a champion, there has been a hard journey that you went through. You had your mother into addiction, then you lost your mother at a young age, you were abandoned by a father, and all these things happened. But today you stand up to say that, oh yeah, I'm a champion. Right, and this is what I call the story of defying all the odds right there. We're going to talk about a lot of that for our teens right now watching this episode, our youths watching this. But before that, let's try to reflect a little bit onto your journey to the top.
Of course. Yeah, so like you mentioned, life wasn't a crystal stair. It was extremely difficult. Langston Hughes, he wrote an incredible poem in regards to just life being hard and it's an upward climb. And I feel like my life has been a lot of that. Like you mentioned, my mother passed away when I was 7 years old. I actually found my mother dead. My father abandoned me. But something that I really don't talk about a lot on social media is that I was born with drugs in my system. And so as a young kid coming up, I couldn't read. As a young kid, I had a speech impediment. And as a young kid, I just felt so angry and just forgotten. I felt abandoned, right? And so you can imagine all the emotions that came along with that. And so a lot of days I felt like giving up. And I really love that poem by Langston Hughes because when I was 11 years old, I started running stairs. And there's some local stairs here in my hometown. There are these nice stadium stairs. I would go down and I would run those stairs. I didn't realize that those stairs were preparing me for life because life is like running the stairs. You have to keep climbing even when you're tired.
Wow.
You have to keep even when you feel like giving up. And then when you feel like you're at the top, you have to go back down. You have to humble yourself. You have to go back down and prepare yourself to go back up. And sometimes I've had great friends to go run with me, but a lot of times it's just been me running by myself. And man, I tell you, that prepared my mind for what I was getting ready to do with my life. I didn't realize it when I was young, but it was something about those stairs. And those stairs, I still go. I've been doing those stairs for 20 years, and they've been a sanctuary to me. It's something that I do every single weekend for the last 20 years.
Wow, life's like stairs. And as soon as you reach at the top, you want to go to the ground. And indeed, isn't it true, Dr. Gaines, that the top is the ground? For every height you reach, there's a height yet to reach.
Yes, yes. It's so true. And a lot of times I think what happens is when you get used to running these stairs, if we go back to that analogy, and when you get used to climbing, and when it's a lot harder, you appreciate it a lot more at the top. And so I talk a lot about being grateful. I'm so grateful to be where I'm at because I think, one, people respect me, but also I know that I put in the work. No one didn't hand me anything. I didn't have any type of handouts. It was a lot of me just going and working in private and silent and just by myself because I knew that I was created for a purpose, on purpose, and I knew I was created to make an impact and to help the next generation.
Wow. So when you shared this story over here, now my dear champions and young children, young energetic people watching this, youths watching this, They did not have their mother lost at the age of 7, most possibly. They did not see their mother into drug addiction. They most possibly, if they're watching this, did not have their father abandon them. But they had challenges like, my marks were not too good this time, or the friend I believed in, she cheated on me. Right? And they have all these little challenges, what they call as problems, and what they say, life's, I get so heated, and I get so heated when people have quotes in Facebook like life isn't perfect but hell is. I mean, what the heck are you talking about, right? You have everything you need to put up a smile in your face. You have all those resources which thousands of people are begging to have, and then you have strategies like life isn't perfect but hell is. Kill it, dude, right?
Yeah.
And when I ask you this question over there, Dr. John, what I want to know is that your challenges were too huge, right? But the challenges comparatively in a basic view are too less, but they bother a lot to our champions, what they call as overthinking challenges, this and that. At teenage, you went through all of that, right? So my teens and champions watching this who are going through all these little emotions, what do you think can be done at this point of time to inculcate the values of going through all the odds?
Yeah, that's such a great question. You touched on a lot of great things. I want to really emphasize on this idea of being a champion, right? I think when I go into schools and when I talk to young people, I share my story. And oftentimes they did not experience what I experienced when I was a kid. But what I realized, just because they didn't experience what I've experienced, the pain that they feel or the adversity that they've been in, it's real. Right. And so what I like to tell them, I like to share a story about a time where I played football in college. And I'll never forget when we won the championship, because it literally took for me to win that championship. Right. You have this team. I played running back on the team, and that's American football, where I was the guy that had the ball and I got to run and I got all the glory. Right. But then you have so many positions on this team. And everyone faced different adversity on this team. Everyone went through different things on this team. But in order for us to win that championship, we all had to realize our unique greatness, and we all had to come together in unity to literally win that championship. And it's the same thing I share with young people. Like, everyone's going to go through some type of adversity. If you have not experienced some type of pain, you will, right? But here's the reality. Pain is only meant to lead to our purpose. Like, I want to say that again. Pain is only meant to lead to our purpose. So whether it be small or big, whatever that pain is, it only becomes a tool to put into your tool belt that will propel you to the future. And so for me, what I try to share with young people, maybe you've been bullied, and maybe that's the pain that you've experienced, right? Maybe you feel like you're not achieving or living up to your family's expectations, and maybe that's the pain that you've experienced. Maybe you're like me and you were an orphan at the age of 7, and that's the pain that you experienced. But whatever that pain is, that pain was meant to lead to your purpose. So don't give up, keep pushing, keep believing, because your pain is just as real as mine. Although different, your pain is just as real as mine. But here's the reality. You have to keep going and become that champion that you were created to be.
Wow, pain is only there to take you towards your purpose, which means, all these little things, what I'm calling as problems and challenges, are actually the Legos to build the big mansion that I want to build, right? These are all these small Legos that are building the bigger picture. And so, my dear champions, hey, you don't call it problem anymore, right? It's making you, it's building you, and it's hard to listen to this, okay? I know that when you go through all this, it feels hard. And what's wrong with that? Right? It's okay to feel down sometimes. I see this all the time, Dr. Jones. I say this all the time, Dr. John, that just because you fail, you do not become a failure. And just because you lose, you do not become a loser. Just because you fall down, you do not have to stay down. Because one single situation does not decide who you are and who you're going to be.
Yes.
So, exactly. Yes, please.
And you know what? I love that. That's something I live by. Just because you fail you're not a failure. How many times have you failed in your life? How many times have I failed in my life? I failed so many times. One of my mentors, John Maxwell, he says it best. He says when you fall down, and if you fall on your back, that means you can look up. And if you can look up, that means you can get up. He has this idea. He talks about failing forward, right? Everyone fails. It's a part of success, right? It's what makes us who we are. And honestly, some people call it failures, but I love to use the word opportunities. I believe it's synonymous with failures. And so each failure for me is an opportunity. And so when I wrote my first dissertation and I didn't pass and I failed, it was just an opportunity for me to get better. When I was reading these Dr. Seuss books when I was a kid, because I wanted to learn how to read, and I would struggle and I felt like a failure. It wasn't really failures. It just was opportunities for me to get a lot better. When I was playing football and they said I'd never go to college and play football, it wasn't just failures when I got cut from these teams. It was opportunities for me to get better. And guess what? Because I didn't quit, I always got a little bit better. And that's why I am where I am today. So that's my encouragement to any young person watching this, really to any person watching this, because oftentimes what happens is we emphasize and focus so much on young people, and that's what I do. But then we forget about the adults that feel like, well, I'm 30 or I'm 35 and I'm 40 and there's no hope. No, friend, there's still hope for you. There's still hope for you. Some of the greatest people in the world have started living their dream when they were 35 or when they were 40. So I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you're at in your life. Listen to me. If you failed, change your mind. And I promise you, your life will slowly begin to change, because the failure is only an opportunity to get a little better and move toward your dream and your purpose.
And you talked about feeling forward, and you can get up. And also every time we feel forward, just in the analogy sense and in the true sense, whenever you fail forward, isn't it true that when you stand up from the place you fell down to the place you're standing up again, you have moved a little ahead, right? So when we talk about moving ahead in life, feeling forward in life, it's actually moving ahead. It's not just feeling forward. It's about moving forward. It's about growing forward. It's about becoming a champion forward. And in this energetic room, I am pumped up to be with Dr.
Yes.
John. And this is, I would do a jazz over here. I would dance and do whatever. I'm sure you are able to tune us with our energy over here. And
yes,
as you go ahead, my dear champions, I know what you're thinking about. And that's what we're going to ask Dr. John, right? The question over here is, you talk about legacy is not for people, it is in people. And this is a concept that can be so relatable to the champion teams who are watching this. It's actually a little deep. So I want all of you champions to look a little closer into what we're trying to interpret out of it. So could you please go a little deeper into that idea that you share?
Of course. Something I live by, I grew up extremely poor. I remember having to eat food off of the ground, right? It was terrible. I remember there's a lot of nights where I was hungry. There's a lot of nights I missed meals. And so for me, I thought about different things that my parents left me after they passed away. They didn't really leave me much, but I thought about my grandmother who passed away. And she left me so much, not financially, not material things. She didn't leave me a house. She didn't leave me cars, but she left me so much wisdom. That wisdom, seeds. She left me seeds. And I think each of us, we have an opportunity to leave seeds in people, right? Because what happens with the seed, a seed eventually grows. It grows into that tree that we were created to be. And then when you become that tree, you're able to give shade and plant seeds in other people. And so something I live by, legacy is not what we leave for people. Legacy is not material things. Legacy is not financial things. Legacy is what we leave in people.
Right. It's about what you leave in, and your life is a message, right? Either you can make it a spam mail, or you can make it a wonderful congratulations email, right? So it's all about the choices, the little ones that you make. And as we move forward, okay, what I'm trying to ask over here, Dr. John, is you talk a lot about gratitude, and it's something that you preach a lot. I've been watching about you sharing about ideas about gratitude. We all know gratitude is about being thankful in life, right? And I agree, there are times when you're really thankful to whatever happens in your life. And that's something we have to discuss, because I believe it's one of the top skills and values that all of our teams and champions have to inculcate within them. So let's go a little deeper into understanding about gratitude, how it can be implemented into life. Love to hear from you.
Of course. So when I was in college and playing football, I thought I would go to the NFL one day, the National Football League. I thought I'd become a professional American football player, right? And my senior year, I was a starting running back, and I was playing extremely well. And then I hurt my hip. I hurt my hip extremely bad, and I couldn't play anymore. And I showed up every single day to encourage my teammates and to be with my teammates. But I remember in that season, I was so grateful just to still be a part of the team. I was grateful that I still had lungs to breathe. I was grateful that I still had the ability and wisdom to share encouragement with my team. I was grateful that I still was on scholarship, that I didn't have to pay for college. I was grateful that I still had great friends. And I truly believe because of that gratefulness is what kind of healed me in a sense, right? And so that team, we ended up making it to the championship game. It was our first conference championship game, and I actually took part in that championship game, and I ended up scoring a touchdown in that championship game. And I truly believe the reason why I got there to that moment, although my hip was still hurt, is because I was grateful. And so that's something I just implemented in my life. I have a journal that I write in every day. And I have my phone that I write in every day. And I'm always writing different things that I'm grateful in. Anytime I talk to educators around the country or students around the country, I always start with, especially in the virtual environment, I ask them, I say, hey, let's put what you're grateful for in the chat. Because I think when we fix our mind on what we're grateful for, it changes how we think. It changes what we talk about. It changes everything about us, not just in one day, but it becomes a habit of being grateful for every situation. And now I'm at a point to where there's really, I'm literally grateful for the air. I'm grateful for this light. I'm grateful for this technology. I literally don't take anything for granted.
Wow.
I'm grateful for this. Wasn't a guarantee that we're going to wake up. So I'm so grateful just to be here with you. I'm grateful to have met you and experienced your energy because now I'm so inspired. I'm never going to forget this interview. I am just a grateful person. And I think it's key to success.
Oh yeah! This incident comes up in my mind. One of my students, okay, I gave them a small task some time back of making a video on happiness, and there was this kid who made this video. He told that in Nepali, but I'll translate it for you. He said, there are so many reasons to be sad in life, but there are a million reasons to be happy without reason, with reason in life. Right? And there was this kid sharing this so deep, and I'm pumped up, and I'm high right now. I'm super high right now. But
yes.
This is surprise time, Dr. John.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is, with our TV show Being Champions, we have hosted everyone from world champion of public speaking to Olympic medalists to best-selling authors to all of those wonderful people around the world. But over here, when we do this part of the interview, many of the champions get really puzzled, they lose their control, and the champions of champions actually freeze out. So it's going to be a challenge for you. I wish you to the very best. So what's going to happen is I'm going to push you with random words, and you're going to respond to that word within 6 words.
Let's do it.
Okay, it could be as random as comp and as complex as life or money, and you have 6 words instantly. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Let's go for it. So number 1, Dr. John Gaines.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
John Gaines.
Yep.
I will always be grateful.
Push.
Push.
Right.
Until something happens, keep going.
Here's.
Here.
Right.
Here and now.
Life.
must be great.
Life.
Life is what you make it.
Wife.
Wife is my pride and joy.
Coat.
God is my everything.
Note.
What was it?
Note. Note.
Node.
Right.
Notes
Right.
are critical for success.
Okay, you were good. And you played it really safe by going it one word at a time. I know that was your strategy. Well played, well played. So to all my dear champions watching this, I am sure that you took out your champion notebook, took out the learnings, and this is my champion notebook. I'm taking in my learnings. So thank you so much, Dr. John, for being with us in today's episode of Being Champions. To all the champions watching this, we do this all the time together, Dr. John, and our audience does it together. When I say who are we, both of us take our right hand towards the top and say we are champions. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. So on the count of 3, 2, 1, who are we?
Champions.
Oh yeah, champions. Thank you so much, my dear champions, for watching in this wonderful episode of Being Champions. I'm so excited to see you next Monday, 7 p.m.